Welcome to the Respectful Divorce Podcast. If you are considering a divorce, it is important to know that you have options for how you divorce. On the Respectful Divorce Podcast, we explore those options and provide advice from divorce professionals. We will also talk with divorce clients about what went right and what went wrong in their divorce. On today's edition of the Respectful Divorce Podcast, we talk with Dr. Ann Buscho, a mental health professional in Marin and Contra Costa counties. Now here is our host, Tim Crouch, with today's podcast.
We're talking today with Dr. Ann Buscho. Ann is a divorce coach and is the author of A Parent's Guide to Birdnesting. Ann, thank you for joining us today on the Respectful Divorce Podcast.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
So let's just sort of start out, first of all, talking a little bit about respectful divorce. From your perspective, what does that mean?
Respectful divorce. Well, I'm a psychologist. I work with many families going through divorce, and the ones that just bothered me so much were the ones that were high conflict, the people that went to court. When I found the model of collaborative divorce, which was about 20 years ago, I felt like I died and gone to heaven. I love working with collaborative professionals and helping people get divorced and coming out of their divorce in better shape than they went into it.
So how is it different from what most people think about divorce?
Well, first of all, the professionals work together. So we don't have things like opposing counsel. We have attorneys who work together. And the coaches help the parents talk to each other. Sometimes it's about resolving unfinished business, but usually it's more about parenting issues, setting up a parenting plan, communication, and they might work individually with coaches to learn healthy ways to negotiate, figure out what their true goals and interests are and how to express them. So that parents will work with their own coach individually and sometimes together in 4 ways with the 2 coaches.
So I guess one of the things that can come out of the collaborative process is this idea that you wrote the book about, and that is nesting. So what is nesting in terms of a divorce?
So nesting, or bird nesting as it's sometimes called, is a transitional arrangement usually where the children stay put in the home. Their lives are not disrupted. The parents take turns coming in and out of the home like birds flying in and out of the nest. That's where the term comes from. And in this way, the parents have some time to figure out what are they going to do next. They have some time to take care of themselves. Are they going to reconcile? Are they going to move on to divorce? But all of this is handled by the parents while the children stay put. They sleep on the same pillow every night. Their routines are not disrupted. It also gives the parents time to get used to being single parents or solo parents, and it reassures the kids that both of their parents will continue to be actively involved with them.
So this is a transitional process. It's not permanent, right?
Usually it's transitional. Now, 28 years ago, I nested with my ex-husband for 15 months, and we set a goal when the divorce was finished. That's when we ended the nesting. Some people will set some sort of milestone, like the end of the school year, or when the house is sold, or sometimes it's when a new relationship is established. But I have actually talked to people who've nested for quite some time. And in the book, there's a whole chapter of my interview with a family that nested for 6.5 years. And I interviewed both parents and all the children who are now adults. And after that, I met someone whose parents nested for 12 years. So that's the exception rather than the rule. But what these adult kids tell me is that their parents bore the burden of the divorce and they didn't have to. And I found that quite powerful.
Yeah. So your book is A Parent's Guide to Birdnesting. What do parents need to know about this kind of living arrangement? Because it would seem to me it could be a little awkward at times.
Mm-hmm. There are all sorts of things that could make it difficult or go wrong. what they really need to know is they need to have very clear written agreements about how they're going to do it. It's everything from their schedule to how it's going to be funded and how the home will be taken care of. Some agreements about privacy, if the off-duty parent comes into the house, is that okay or not? Some agreements about not bringing dates into the home. One of my cases kind of fell apart when the wife found a used condom in the bedroom. That's not a good thing. Other agreements about not removing things from the home. There are a lot of specific written agreements, and the templates for those agreements are all in the book.
And do you discuss in the book in terms of how you handle the children in that particular circumstance? If you're here for 3 or 4 days and then the other is in, do you go into some of that?
Yes, and it really depends on the age of the children, how you talk to them about it. But I actually find the nest metaphor quite helpful with kids because they understand the idea of birds swooping in and out of the nest. But yes, they need to understand what their parents are doing, and the parents need to explain it without making promises they may not be able to keep. So what's going to change and what's going to stay the same? That's what the parents tell them.
So in the collaborative meetings, is that where you sort of work out those arrangements that need to be worked out if you're going to try nesting?
You could. I've mostly worked with people who've come to me specifically to set up nesting arrangements. Many of them have not decided for sure that they want to get divorced, or they don't want to get divorced until they've sort of settled down emotionally and done some other work, so that then when they do get into a collaborative process, it's more efficient, it costs less, it doesn't take as long, it's less emotionally destructive.
And therefore a more respectful divorce process?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If parents can calm down enough to make agreements that are realistic, that work for their children and work for them, they're going to have a respectful divorce.
All right. We're talking today with Ann Buscho, Dr. Ann Buscho, author of the book, A Parent's Guide to Bird Nesting. Ann, if somebody wants to get a copy of the book, where can they find a copy of your book?
It's online at Amazon, of course, Barnes & Noble, Indie Books. You can go to Simon & Schuster directly where they have the books. You can also go to my website, which is drannbuscho.com, and there's a link there. It's drannbuscho.com.
Okay. And you have sort of a special bonus that's on your website, a family recipe for soup, right?
That's right. My grandmother's beet borscht recipe. Yes, my grandmother immigrated from Russia, and it's a cold soup, great in the summer, and it's just a little bonus.
It's just a little bonus if you go to Ann's website. Ann, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
We've been talking today on the Respectful Divorce podcast with Dr. Ann Buscho, author of A Parent's Guide to Bird Nesting. You'll find links to her website and to opportunities to purchase the book in the show notes.
Thanks for joining us for the Respectful Divorce podcast.